Hello there, it's me, Sari, and today I thought I'd get started on some sort of a mixed media project. I have started preparing a lid for a white box. I just used something and I sort of like the lengthy look of this, and I've been asked to make another mixed media project, and since I'm not making that many, that's why I haven't really been that busy making them. But now that I've seen a beautiful thing on YouTube by a Russian artist, I'll be putting her link in the description box below later on, because she is my inspiration right now. I mean, she makes it look so easy, but I'm going to give it my own twist anyway. But what I've started off with is just gluing down some cheesecloth, and I tore it and ripped it to make it look a little bit more uneven and perfect, and I glued it with some multi-medium matte. And then I took some gel with small glass beads. It looks like this. And I just put it here and there with a spatula, and I'm sort of letting it dry by itself, even though I helped it out a little bit. So I put it sort of diagonally like this. So that's where I'm basically right now. And I do have a brush in water. I'm not sure if I'll be using that, but I thought that I actually just take it out of the water. I don't think it's good to have these brushes in water too long, so I'm just going to take it out now. So I'm going to warn you beforehand, I'm not going to edit this video, I'm just going to keep it real. And I've been to a mixed media crop this weekend in Karlstad in May 2019, and I got a lot of beautiful inspiration there. I went to 3 classes for the first thing, just to let you know, I went to... Hello there, it's me, Sari, here again, and today I'm going to start working on a mixed media project. I haven't been making many of them of late, so that's why I'll just try to give it a go, because I've been boosted in energy after having been to a mixed media weekend in Karlstad here in Sweden, and this is May 2019, so I'm just really freshed up on new energy. And then I went to YouTube and found a really beautiful tutorial of how to make a rusty mixed media box. And it's just a beautiful video to watch. So I'll be making sure that I'll be linking her video down there, because I don't know what her name is, because I mean it's written in those Russian letters. I don't really know what her name is, but I'll be putting her link there because she needs all the credit. You know, I mean, for goodness sake, I'm just going to copy her as best I can here. But I'm going to give it my twist anyway. So first off, I've just taken the lid from a white box that I've had here for years from Udo. It was a Swedish scrapbooking company, but now I don't think that they are here among us anymore. So what I started off with was gluing some cheesecloth to this white lid, and I glued it with some multi-medium matte from Studio Claudine Helmuth. It doesn't really matter what you use, as long as it is a sort of a glue that you can apply. And I used a brush, this kind of a brush, to apply it. And then I put it in water in order to just cleanse it a little bit. After that, I put on some gel with glass, or just gel with some beads to it. So I have texture from the get-go, easy peasy. And I applied it with a spatula like this. And I have dried this one a little bit with my heat gun, just to get this process started, because it's going to be a lot of drying and things like that, gluing and drying. And for you that don't like these sort of live kind of videos, I'm sorry to say this is going to be one of those. I'm not going to edit this, I'm just going to keep it real. If you want to, you can fast forward to just see if you can find something that interests you. If not, bye bye, have a nice life. And well, let's see. I'm going to get started with some wooden pieces. I have also taken out some metal decorations just to see if they tickle my fancy when I get there. So what I'm attempting now is to create some texture, and if I have the pieces that match, I could actually see myself gluing some bits and pieces on the edges as well, just to see. And just to come to think of it, I'm going to need a really strong glue, and since I am the kind of person that doesn't always plan and prepare everything, you might have me running to and fro in this video as well, so I'm going to apologize for that beforehand, or am I? Because for goodness sake. There it came. It is open, so it should be, I should be able to get some glue from it, but I think that I'll just snip off the top because it's going to be too small. It's going to be ridiculously small. So now I hope I'll be able to get some glue from this Aleene's Original Tacky Glue bottle. So I've also had the lust to do something with chess pieces. Perhaps this is the time that I'll be able to actually put it there. I've been longing to be able to use that. So when it comes to creating texture, I mean, you could just go for a piece of cardboard like this. If you want to have something sticking better to the background, why not take away the sort of plasticky feel to it if you are using a package that you have gotten from a scrap company or something like that. So just make sure that you are getting the best stickiness to the surface as possible. And I mean, why give yourself a hard time if you don't need it? So let's see. And I'm thinking that it could have been nice to actually have the texture from the corrugated cardboard as well. It's all about being able to just peeling off the top layer. I'm not sure I'll be able to do that, but if I am able to do it, it's going to be so much more fun. And I could just help it out a little, I suppose, or just make it more difficult. But you see, the texture here is to die for. And it doesn't have to be much. Just something a little bit here and there, just to give some extra texture. And it's a good thing that I've cut my nails, so they are, oh, love it, love it, love it. Look at that. So here we are. I do have something to go with. I think I'll just try to get a little bit more. That's nice. So let's see. I'm going to be putting these here because I do want the texture from underneath to show a little bit. So I'm not going to cover all of these things. So I'm thinking that these could actually serve as the base layer, and then I could continue working on this with, let's say, these pieces from canvases, or these rub-on sticks, or I don't know what these are. Perhaps they are some ice cream scoops made out of wood when you are wanting to be environmental friendly and such. So let's see if I could get started gluing these things down in order to get some sort of ground or base layer texture. Just to come to think of it, I also have a jar here with some cogwheels, so I'm looking for a nice time. And I do have some miscellaneous things here and there. I might even go here, since I have prepared these before for some other projects. So I might even go here. You never know. But on with the process. Do not think too much about it. Just do something. And immediately I actually see that there's going to be some unevenness here because the paste or the gel with the beads is a little bit higher. So I'm just going to put a small bit of corrugated cardboard there. And hopefully this glue is going to be sticky enough to stay in place. If I put it there, you know what, I actually want that one to be visible more, so I'm going to. And I'm using this glue now because I've been working with some gel medium, but it takes forever to dry. The benefit, of course, of that being that you can move things around, but I just want to get started and go with the flow. So now I wouldn't mind having a small bit of something. And you know what? I'm just going to take that and glue that one down there. You know, this one doesn't look at all what I wanted. Well, I could actually go with having that one visible there. It doesn't matter because it's all about creating the height and everything. So here I have something. I'm not sure if I want to use these now. Still, I'm just going to take it away. This is from a Biggs die from Tim Holtz with an industrial theme with lots of cogs and everything. So let's see. Should I be putting... I'm just trying to think. Yeah, and I do have a lot of these cloth pegs as well. And I saw a canvas in course that somebody had made a really, really beautiful thing, and I wanted to be inspired by that. So now I'm sure you'll be getting a lot of thinking out loud from me, because I haven't really decided on what to do with it yet and where to put all of these things. But you know what, I just think I'll just glue it down. Hope for the best. Do not overanalyze things. So I'm intentionally keeping it outside there because I do like it. But I don't like them to be so symmetrical, so perhaps I just put it there. And I'm sort of trying to create a sort of a tight knit pattern here. But in the end, not all of these things are going to be that visible. I mean, you just have to dare to let them disappear somewhere. I'm just going to put this one underneath because I see the possibility of actually putting something else here on top. Hopefully I have enough glue, but if I don't, I just have to add more. Of course I could have gone with some hot glue, but I'm thinking that there is a risk of it actually releasing or loosening in the end, so I'm not going to go there. I'm not sure if I want that there. You know, this is the thing, it's going to be me thinking out loud. Here we are. And there's no point covering all of the patterns either, or the texture. Some of these bits from the canvases are thicker than the others, so I'm going to get some nice texture just by adding these, since they are of different heights. You see? Some of them are really narrow and some of them are rather thick, so there's a difference there. And I'm sort of trying to imagine what it's going to be like when I've painted everything black. It's difficult to do that beforehand, but I'm still trying to figure out. Perhaps that could go there. Of course I could have painted everything black from the get-go, but just forgot about it. And I thought that I'd go with the first layer of texture here. It's going to be rather difficult to get it even, Steven. So perhaps I ought to you know what, perhaps I ought to do a bit of drying and a bit of painting as well, so I can get to the crevices before it's too late. So I might actually pause while I'm doing that. I think I'll do that. Hi there again. As I started painting, I didn't leave these wooden bits there long enough for them to stick to the surface, so I actually had to take them away, and I had to dry the surface, take away the glue of course, and now I'm thinking of actually gluing them down with some glue and another glue, just to get them to stick and sort of attach to the surface in the long run. So I just had to rearrange and correct my way of thinking there. So I've started painting with black gesso. I'm just using whatever I have. This one is from Finnabair, Prima marketing. And it seems like the paste also didn't have enough time to dry, so some of the beads are falling off, but there are some beads that are actually sticking there. And from my point of view, they look rather nice, but of course in this coarse mode they look horrible to you, but I can see them looking nice further on. So I'll just continue. Perhaps I'll have some more mishaps to share with me so you can learn from my mistakes. And feel free to fast forward if you think this bit is a bit tedious. I can totally understand that. So what I'm concentrating on now is getting the gesso underneath the bit, so there aren't any white cracks or crevices peeking through. I'm thinking that even if I add some wax or something on top, there is a chance of these white things poking, and I don't really like that. So I'm sort of trying to get the best job done as I can. And it's a good thing to actually put on a thin coat, because you don't want to put on too thick a coat, because then you might actually cover some of the texture that you have put in. So if I'm going to glue on too thickly over, let's say, the cheesecloth, I'm not going to be that happy about it afterwards. So now I just have to take that one away as well. So I'm just going to use a baby wipe and do the best as I can. And there I got rid of a big blob of pearl gel. So I'm just going to dry this one fairly quickly. Hopefully I can paint over it. And the thing about, you might think about why on earth is she putting on a lot of texture and then she's covering it? Well, the thing is, or the beauty of this is that you have texture somewhere, here and there. It doesn't have to be visible everywhere, because then you would have a sort of a flat surface in the end. I mean, if you're just going to, if you are afraid of covering, I'm still struggling with that. I'm not really that confident in it. So I'm sort of talking to myself as well. And gesso is a primer, something that color or paint will stick to more easily than, let's say, acrylic paint. Of course, there are different kinds of acrylic paint. Some of them are matte, and some of them are glossy. And of course, the glossy ones might be a little bit more tricky to get things sticking to. Whilst the matte ones, let's say from Prima, Finnabair's, those impasto paints, those are matte and you can stamp on them easily. So they are lovely, I must say. And it's good to actually take the piece of surface that you're working on and looking at it from different angles to see if there's any white bits peeking out or just being visible. And then when you're going to dry brush, or if I'll actually try to attempt that, because I haven't done that much, but I know that it's going to give a really dramatic and beautiful effect. So hopefully, given the texture bits that you've put on, you can create really, really lovely effects with dry brushing. And you could actually go for some wax, or you could go for some, let's say, metallic acrylic paint, or just regular acrylic paint, just experiment. And after putting on those dry brushed mediums, you could finish things off with some white gesso. Make sure you use a really, really soft brush and just funnel it on, or just brush it on gently, layer by layer. Do not put on too thick a layer from the get-go. Just make sure that you are giving it time to get there. Well, I can't say that it was a good idea to actually put on the paste beforehand. I've seen people putting it on afterwards, and of course letting it dry, I suppose, before they go on waxing and everything. But if you don't try, you never learn, will you? So perhaps I just ought to take it a little bit more careful here. I like working from a tube because it's easy to just apply the small amount that you're looking for, whereas a big jar, and you need to use both your hands to open a lid and everything. So I think this will do for now. And I ought to let this one dry, of course, and I'm going to sort of clean up the brush a little bit here. And I'm going to squeeze it off against the jar's edge there and let it dry by itself for a little. And you know what, I think I'll just take off this glove. Gesso is a product that dries fairly quickly, that one as well. So now I'm going to use this to glue these bits and pieces back to where they belong. Hopefully I will succeed a little bit better here. So I'm just going to put these things haphazardly, of course, here and there. Alright, that one was the thick one, so I might as well just put it back there. When you're working with hot glue you don't really have that much time to think. You need to be fairly quick in the process. So no time to muck about. That one is really crooked. Thinking that perhaps that one could go there. The good thing about hot glue is, of course, that you can sort of make the items go straight even if the surface underneath is a little bit crooked, because the glue itself is going to harden to this shape that you're leaving it in. Right, I think I'll just put this one there. So it's a bit busy, isn't it? But I think what if I were to put these small ones as a frame here and there, perhaps not everywhere, but a couple of here and a couple of there. And these are really easy to glue with the hot glue gun, I must say. I'm thinking I put these in the corners so they can sort of help me frame out these bits of corrugated cardboard. And I do want to hold on to those. I don't want to cover these when it comes to texture. So that's why I'm being a little bit fussy about it. So the same thing goes here. I can actually put in perhaps 2 here. Perhaps. And I think it's nice to actually work with some wooden pieces because they are heat resistant in a different way than plastic might be. I have used some plastic bits and pieces before and they have melted when I've added some heat from the heat tool. So I think that it's a good idea to go with something wooden. And I've had these cloth pegs for years, you know, and it's nice to actually make use of them somehow. Right, so now we are here. Perhaps I ought to do a bit of painting now as well. So I think I'll just do that and I'll pause. You don't have to watch me do that again. Bye bye for now. So now that I've dried it, I painted it and dried it, it's time to put on the thinking cap again. I'm still thinking about the fact that if I would like to actually keep this one as a lid, I would like to be able to just open it with one hand like this. Although I could change my mind and make this one into a canvas of sorts, just to put something in the background here so I can hang it up, or just put it leaning against something. So that's a possibility, of course. One good thing about creating texture like this is that I might actually be able to put this one in somewhere, because this one needs a little bit of height difference. And since it is a round one, I mean, I would have preferred having this one as a half, of course. But I'm going to need something, and for that I'm going to need both the regular glue as well as the quick drying hot glue. And you know what? I'm thinking of, let's see if I have something already painted black. That would save me from that process. I do have a star. That could be nice. I mean, stars are always nice. They can cover things up, or they can enhance things. Stars are always nice. But I'm thinking that I don't... Yeah, I mean, that one isn't painted well enough, is it? I do have a fun foam, a thick fun foam die cut cogwheel that is black, and it's always also painted black. So perhaps that could be fun. Let's see. And this is a fun bit. Let's see if I have it. Well, it's sort of a thing that you can make some small cookies in. And I had my husband run it through at his work, so he flattened it out for me, so it could create this sort of flower-like shape. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it though. Could be fun to have here. Here is something, I don't know what it is, but it could be fun to have it here, couldn't it? So, I mean, you can just play around with some diverse things. Here it is. This is the one that has been flattened out like this. It's a fun thing, isn't it? It's also nice to use a spoon, isn't it? There is something there. Let's see if I can just... Here's another cogwheel. And here is some metal flower that has been painted black already, so it's a nice thing, isn't it? And here is a sort of a wing key, or what you could call it. This is something that I found on the ground. I don't know what it is. Could be some packaging from lorries and such. It's been painted black, so it could work. It's plastic though, so I'm not sure how much heat it will hold. It's a big washer, heavy. And these are fun as well. These are nice to make some nice texture with. So let's see what I could do. And this foam bit also isn't that willing to stand the heat. And now I'm just trying to sort of envision what it's going to look like. I have a black one here. I do like those, I must say. Numbers are also nice to actually glue on here and there. I do have a couple of numbers here. That's nice. That sort of immediately makes it interesting in my book. That one is black also. Should I have two of these perhaps? Here's another cloth peg. I do like having them in various sizes. So now I'm just going to look for nice looking numbers that could actually contribute to some nice texture. And let's see, I could actually, since it is flat up there, I might as well just go for it. And it's a good thing I actually kept this one warm, because then I'm ready to go right now. When it comes to gluing bits like plastic and metal, I'm not sure how well the glue here will help them stay in place. But when it comes to paper against paper or carton-like things, that will absolutely work. But I think I'll just put this one here, not be too hesitant about it. I'm not going to be carrying this one around. It's not going to be a bag. So I'm hoping things will stay in place. I did have that one. I love these. And you know what? One could actually glue them on top of these, couldn't one? Just to have something fun, breaking off the flatness of them. So, just going to put the glue in the middle there. And there's going to be a little bit of glue peeking out, but it will just add to the texture, I think. This one is a fun one, an oldie but a goodie. So I'm thinking, could be nice to have it there somewhere. I'm also sort of thinking about making it easy for me to paint these, so I don't mind having them on top of that flat surface. It's going to be easy enough to paint it. And the glue, it's hot. And I know it looks like a hot mess now, it really does, but I'm hoping in the end that it will look nice when I've added on some paint and waxes. It's my premiere for waxes actually in this video, so cross your fingers. Something there as well. I do believe I have one more there. Right, so I do have something there now. So it's all about creating layer by layer like this. So I'm thinking that I do need to do some painting soon. And I might as well just paint this one black just in case I would feel inclined to use it. But I'm also considering the fact that actually using the brush as a decoration in the end. I'm not sure. So my head is a little bit everywhere right now. And you mustn't be afraid of hiding things. That's what I'm going at right now. And I do like having a cogwheel here and there. So I do need to do a little bit of painting now. So I'll just switch this one off and come back later. I'm back again, so let's see. I think I'll try to glue this one down, and I think I need to put it here, here and there. And I'll be adding on some hot glue as well, just to make it stick a little bit quicker. This one hasn't really become hot yet, but I'm hoping it'll help me still. Anyway, like so. So let's see, I think I'll actually dare to put this one there as well. So I'm hoping I'll be able to put it there with this hot glue. And I realized that I have to do a little bit more painting before I'm done. And now I think it's time to work in some small beads. I do have some larger ones as well. I'm not sure if these are all right, but perhaps they are. I would like something to mix them in. I think I'll just take this paper plate and I think I'll just take that amount. I don't think I need more. The benefit of actually going with the color you need from the start is that you don't have to paint them that much. But I'm not sure if I have... These sort of feel like they are matte, these are shiny, so I don't want to go with them. So perhaps I'll just be content with those then. And I'm going to use some glue for this. So I think I'll just go for this brush that I've had here. Don't know where it went. There. I have this one. There's a little bit of gesso there. I'm not sure if you know what. I don't want to destroy this one with some black gesso. So just a quick rinse. Squeeze out as much of the water as I can. And just squeeze it in between a couple of sheets of paper. And now I'm just going to take this glob of glue and hopefully, I've never been successful with this gluing down the pearls, but I like it so much I want to give it another go. So now there's a lot of glue around them. Hopefully I can make them stick, but better safe than sorry. So I'm just going to add on some tacky glue as well. Hopefully it will help them stay in place. And I'm putting them here because I think that it could be a nice idea to have the pearls clustered together like this. And I'm sort of moving in this diagonal direction. Hopefully I can get rid of the glue from the brush. So I think I'll dare to do a bit of... I think I'll skip these small ones actually, just because they're not black. But what I would like to do is add on some black metal thread. That is something that I really fell in love with when I went to a class with Olga from 13 Arts. So let's see if I can stick this here somehow. So it's a really thin thread. And what I'm doing now is I'm just making a sort of a circular shape out of it, but at the same time making it a bit tangly. And now I need to find a way to actually fasten it somehow. So I'm thinking of using this chess piece here. Perhaps I could put it through there somehow. I'm not sure. This is just an idea, you see. Just to create a bit of a mess, like so. And then I'm not even going to bother about gluing it down. I'm just going to keep it as it is, like so. So now I'll start gluing this down just to see what it'll look like when it's dry. Perhaps I oughtn't do it like that, because I'm thinking that it might start bubbling, and I'm not sure if it's going to help me out in any way. So I think I'll just leave it to self-dry, and after that I think I'll start dry brushing some of these different kinds of paints. So I'll be back. Bye-bye. So now that it has had some time to dry, I think I'd dare to go there with some impasto paints from Finnabair and Prima marketing. And I think I'll just try to mimic the Russian girl as best as I can. And I believe she started off with some dark blue and went on with some green and then continued with something turquoise like. So I think I'll just try these. And as for brushes, I've got these sort of soft, really nice to the touch kind of brushes, and I hope I'll be able to pull this one off. So bear with me. And oh right, I haven't even opened this one yet. So I'm just going to squeeze out a little bit here. And since it's all about dry brushing, I must keep the brush fairly dry. And I think I'll just start off here, building up the layer softly, gently does it. I must say that it is fairly gentle, this. Perhaps I need to change the brush or add on just a little bit more colour. Or just go from the paper directly instead of being so timid about it. Let's see. So I'm just brushing on best I can. Hopefully I'll be able to cover the white areas. And the main thing isn't to cover the whole piece, but to get some kind of colour to the raised bits, if you know what I mean. And since the acrylic paint dries so quickly, it's better to just put on a small amount instead of having a big blob that will dry up so quickly that you can't even blink. Right, so now I've got more paint. Let's see if this one ruins it or if it actually helps me getting started. So I'm just touching the raised bits really, hoping I'll get some colour there. So it might be that I'm doing this wrong, but bear with me. I hope I'll get there in the end. Perhaps I ought to have had a more shimmery paint or another kind of brush. I did bring another with me as well. I'm not sure if this one is soft enough. Let's see if it picks up anything. I daren't go there with too hard a brush, you see. You know what? I think that just having a sort of a more shimmery kind of paint would do the trick a bit more quicker. Perhaps I could even mix now it's getting there. The green one is really nice. Just look at this. I'm not there yet, but it is making it pop a little bit better than the blue one. So perhaps the blue one was too dark a blue. And I'm thinking that the beautiful color combo could be down here, and then I'll go with the rusty bit from top. So I'm going to make this a two-colored thing, but I'm just going to imagine myself having the rusty bit starting from the top. And it's good to let the brush go from different directions. You can actually catch the texture that I made with the cheesecloth. And I'm not going to paint into the crevices because I want the depth that the black color is giving. I'm going to try to brush on top. Just to see how it could look. And of course I could have had even more things going on here. I'm just making a sort of a quick canvas this time. So now I've got those two colors. It's not, perhaps it's not to my liking yet, but I think I'll still try with the turquoise just to see where it will end up. Oh, this one is not turquoise per se. But it's a lighter blue and it's called Azure. So just a it's a bit thick, I must say. So I'm going there with the same brush really. I have to sort of spread it out a little bit, it's so thick. So now it's getting somewhere, you see. It really does need those blue highlights. Oh, this is looking lovely, I must say. I'm thinking I might actually just put it through and make a loop out of this string so it will stay in its place. And it can be nice looking over there. And it has loosened from there. Okay, I can actually fix it later. Don't need to fret about it now. Just make use of the blue one. So there we are now. It's looking better in camera, I must say. It's looking rather dark for me. So perhaps I need to go there with just a little bit more. And I think it's all about going in layer by layer, not adding too much from the start. And since I do have some more green, I might actually just go, oh my goodness, that wasn't pretty, was it? So let's see if I can rescue this somehow. It's just about balance. Either you get it right or you don't. Perhaps I need a little bit of water here just to water it down a little. So now it's time to get a little bit more daring and go there with some brown. Yes, and I need to put it here first. Come to think of it, it would have been nice to have some hot glue drops running from the top. I might add that later, I'm not sure. Perhaps I should do it now while I still can. You see, it's looking rather fabulous in the camera with the right lighting and everything. But for me, it's, I mean, the dark black is still peeping through quite a lot. But I think I'll just try. Oh my goodness, there's a difference in thickness in these paints, I must say. So now I just have to be really careful about the yellow one because I don't want to overdo it. And the thread is just giving me so much a hard time, so I think I'd better take it off for now. I'm not sure about this color combo though. Let's see about the orange. That one is fairly loose as well. And I think that I might be being just a little bit too careful about this. Perhaps I do need more in the background to be able to make it into a rusty effect. Because I'm not convinced as it is now. I'm not sure about this really. But I can still see that it is a rather nice attempt, so perhaps I could settle for it as it is and just try to work the wire. And if I put it under here, I might actually manage to make it loop somehow. I think it's a good thing I didn't glue these completely flat, so I actually had something to work with here. And of course you could have threaded some beads or pearls through this wire if you would have wanted to. But I think I'll just leave it as it is for now. I mean, the color combo is really nice here and it picks up beautifully here. But I'm thinking that I might even come back to this and make it even more colorful. So here we are right now. I'm signing off right now. Bye bye. I'm back. I thought I'd give it a go with some waxes from Prima and Finnabair. I haven't used these yet, so fingers crossed, alright? Oh, there is a white thingy there. I was looking for that white thing. So, and I also found myself a really soft sort of makeup brush kind of a thing. So I think I'll just give it a go and brush on something. Oh, this makes a difference, for goodness sake. This makes a beautiful difference. My goodness, how come I've waited so long? Oh, it picks up everything. Look at that. Easy peasy. I must say that this was really fabulous. fantabulous. I'll just put on the green first. It covers it and it picks up, highlights everything really, really nicely. And there is no effort at all. And this is my favorite kind of craft. Oh, this is lovely. I must say that this is absolutely delightful. This is better, much better, for goodness sake. And I also remembered that I hadn't put on any white gesso if needed be. So this is it. I think I'll just go from the lid. It's a creamy thing, and let's see if I can make it work. This is wonderful. What a wonderful product. You know, I have it in my store, and just now I got 4 tins for myself because I've been sort of hesitant of daring to go there, but having tried this like this, there is no need to be afraid, I must say. This is really wonderful. And, well, I can see that the green and the blue, they are sort of mixing together, but I don't mind it really. So, and now I'm just going to go on with the red amber. So the things that I used, perhaps I might be a little bit more clear on that fact. Mint Sparkle versus Peacock. And I'm going to go for red amber and vintage gold. So I think I'll just go for some red amber first. I didn't have that many of... Oh, my goodness, what a colour. What a colour. Oh my lord, word, whatever. Oh, for goodness sake, sorry. This is fabulous. And you see, I'm just dipping it in the lid, not caring, having a care in the world how much it's going to pick up, and I'm just going to brush it on. Really easy to work with, and the colour, for goodness sake, this is fabulous. And I love the way it spreads, I must say. I mean, I'm sounding like a preacher or something, but perhaps I'm preaching to the choir. What do I know? So here we are with that, and let's see if I can accent some of the parts with the vintage gold. My word, that was fabulous. And there was just a little here, and I see that there is a little bit of orange tint and perhaps even something else from... Actually, I think I can get exactly what I was looking for here. Just a little bit of the yellowy bits. And the soft brush really makes it easy. Now I can actually feel really pleased with this one, because I wasn't really feeling it. I kept thinking that, oh my goodness, I didn't do it a good job enough, but this time, now I can feel really happy with it. And even though it isn't perfectly rusty or anything, I still like the outcome. Look at this. Really nice. And of course I could paint the inside with something black. Oh my word, and now I'm happy. Oh, it's a satisfying feeling knowing that you are happy with something. Oh my word. If you don't have these, for goodness sakes, go ahead and buy a couple of these. It makes a beautiful combo. Really nice. So, thank you for watching. Bye bye.